Welcome to Cut the COVID Crap Part 91. Why do we need sheep? Yes, I think we need sheep. I think as human species, we wouldn't have survived if,
As a species?
as a species, yeah. We wouldn't have survived if it was not in our nature to have the majority of people being sheep. I mean, in the whole COVID context, it's been disappointing that there's many sheep that just follow the mainstream narrative, don't question stuff, and just do as they told. And I'm going to argue why that nature is actually needed for humans. So imagine that we're back 50,000 years in the
Neanderthals.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Neanderthals, and in the Stone Age, and the men go out the cave with their wooden clubs. They didn't have anything else than that, and they go about to kill a bison or something like that. You'll have a leader. I mean, that's natural amongst any animal species that are, if they operate in a group, there will be a leader. But that's not the focus now. The focus is the sheep. The leader says, we're going to go this way. And the sheep more or less blindly follow. And that is a good thing. If they're out on the hunt and they want to kill a bison, they have to cooperate as a group. If they stick together, they can kill the bison.
And then they can eat.
And then they can eat.
Hence why we survive.
That's right. Yeah. If they disperse too much, then bison will win, or he'll kill a couple of people,
or they just won't get food.
Or they won't get food. Exactly. Yeah. So if you get a leader and I don't know 10 or 20 sheep, so to speak, and they follow, no problem. If out of those 20 there are a few that think like, you know what? He says we need to go there, but like actually, if you burn this iron or to a very hot temperature, you can actually
melt it.
Yeah. You can create iron, and maybe that's a good thing. I mean, we may make stuff out of that, and by the time they're done philosophizing,
then they're good like 20,000 years.
By then they're eaten already. So in the middle of a battlefield, you need to have dedicated sheep, basically. Don't think too much for themselves. Stick to your task. Do what you're supposed to do. I see that. I really see the need for that. Without that, again, as a species, we wouldn't have survived. They would not be cooperating enough to achieve higher goals. But the other side of this coin is, once you're back in the cave, that's when, especially the more experienced people and the elders or the leaders themselves, they have to contemplate like, hey, what we've been on a hunt was maybe not successful this time. What went wrong? Or the elders have sort of like they're slowly in the process of discovering how to create iron. They'd be like, hey, you know what? I agree that those clubs you are using are safe and effective, but hey, what about if we have iron and we can make spears and then we can
be less safe and effective?
Well,
I mean, they'll probably start stabbing each other, to be honest.
That's another side. They need to have their safety procedures in place. Yeah. But they can kill from a distance, basically. That was the whole progress on that side, basically. So it is important that there's people in the cave. Some people really need to stand up in order to make progress. If you want to make progress, it's not on the battlefield that you suddenly people have to disperse, but like in the cave, that's where the new ideas needs to be discussed, tested, and stuff like that.
Well, basically, Parliament here today.
That's right. And it's not that the majority needs to do that. There's just a couple of people. Let's call them the lions, eh?
Trusted people.
Yeah, like the people that are maybe physically not strong enough anymore to go out for a kill, but they have the experience. Or maybe they used to be the alpha males before. They used to be the leaders before, and now they're taken care of in the cave.
And everyone supports and trusts them.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, based on their history. And then when the time is right, you discuss these things. If the leaders don't accept that, they should be ousted, right? If a leader is getting, let's say, weaker either mentally or physically, he should pass on his leadership. If he doesn't do that voluntarily, you get a bit of a revolt and gets kicked out. Yeah, just like the
bonk.
Yeah, just like what we saw in the chimpanzee documentary, right? What is it? The Chimp
Empire on Netflix. Yep.
Yeah. So that's a natural process. So all up, coming back to the whole COVID episode, I don't think it's fair to go after the sheep. Basically, the people with low responsibility, just behaving as sheep. Fair enough. Once there's a new leader, those sheep will be easily converted to follow the new narrative, which is hopefully a bit more rational.
But with the COVID thing, doesn't it make sense by now?
Yeah, I think we're in a transitionary phase now. Basically,
what, like about 6 months, you think, since this year?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and maybe another 6 months to go or something. Because, like, if you look at technically, anyone that is willing to look into the data, into basically how what the risk benefit is.
Basically, in Caveman, do I trust that guy that's going to talk to those other 5 guys, seeing if we should use spears or clubs? You know, that's basically doing the same thing, just to put it into a simpler context.
That's right. Yeah. But the current state that we're in, most sheep still follow the mainstream narrative as well. No, I shouldn't even say that, because like most people don't get vaccinated anymore for COVID.
And speaking of new vaccinations, is $200 for like 19th vaccination. $200 American dollars.
The vaccination rate is so low that they need to raise the prices in order to get the same profit. Anyway, so the vaccination rate is low, but like still people that speak in the open about it, there's still a lot of sheep that are vocal about it, about following the mainstream narrative. But if you look at any analysis, proper analysis, not like just follow the science, or he and she said the specialist said such and such, and we should believe him or her.
They said.
They said, yeah. But if you really look into the data, I mean, it's all the evidence is that the risk benefit is not in favor of vaccination, especially for healthy people.
Yeah.
So I think now we're in a transition that the sheep are a bit like, feel a bit bad that they made the wrong choice in hindsight, but at some point,
shift.
A new leader will stand up and they'll follow him. But that's the crux. The people with the responsibility that still say that are the leaders and still go for the mainstream narrative, like
whether in a modern or caveman context.
Well, in a modern context, the current day, like the Faucis of this world, so to speak, if they still say vaccinations, COVID vaccinations are safe and effective, those are the ones that need to be ousted. Left, turn, or right.
Wait, Fauci's still doing this stuff?
Well, Fauci has stepped down.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, he's come back.
hopefully never again. But like, still in various places, like Biden still recommends it, stuff like that. So the leaders, those are the ones that need to be replaced by better leaders, basically left, turn, or right. So if again, like the sheep themselves, the sheep with low responsibility, don't bother too much. They'll come on the right side. But the people with responsibility, and they're not willing to change. That's the
Sheep have-
focus for.
Sheep see moral rights.
So again,
The sheep see moral rights still.
that's right.
Like,
yeah.
They'll get through to it eventually.
Yeah. So yeah, don't get too upset with the sheep. But like if you can always ask people like, why are you so convinced that vaccinations are safe and effective? Because such and such says so, or have you seen actual research? Yeah, the actual research points in one direction. Anyway, that's a take for this week, I think.
Yep.
Okay, see you next week.